You believe that truth is something you clear's throat, can find in a book, or learn from a teacher, or hear with your ears. I am here to tell you that you are mistaken. The truth you seek has never been contained in any word ever spoken or written. All of that is merely a pointer, a signpost directing you to a place where words cannot go. There is a realm of pure consciousness, an infinite silence where reality is known not as a concept, but as a living presence. This is not the absence of sound, but a profound stillness from which all sound emerges. It is in this sacred quiet that the voice of truth is heard, not with the ear, but with the entire being. It is a communication of spirit to spirit, a knowing that transcends all human understanding. What you are about to experience is an invitation to leave the noise of the world behind and to listen, perhaps for the first time, to what this silence has to say. You will discover that it is not empty but overwhelmingly full. It is alive, intelligent, and it is speaking your name. If what you have heard has stirred something within you, if there is a yearning to go deeper into this practice of listening, then I must urge you to take a conscious step. Make your presence in this work known. Let your engagement be a sacred act, a signal of your inner readiness. Subscribe to this channel as a commitment to your own awakening. And in the comments below, place the number 33 not as a mere digit, but as a symbol of the divine promise that awaits in the stillness. You have spent a lifetime looking for answers. You have scanned countless pages, listened to innumerable lectures, and sought guidance from every conceivable source outside of yourself, believing that the secret to life, to God, to peace, was hidden in a teaching you had yet to find. This is the great deception of the human mind and clear's throat. It is a deception that must be shattered for any real progress to occur. The truth you seek with such fervor is not a commodity to be acquired. It is not a piece of information to be downloaded into your brain. It cannot be found on any shelf in any temple or on any lips. The entire world of sound, of language, of concepts and ideas is a world of echoes. It is the reverberation in the canyon, not the source of the sound itself. To believe that the echo is the original voice is to live in a perpetual state of separation from reality. This is the foundational rock upon which your entire spiritual structure must be built, or it will forever crumble seeking truth externally. This is not a suggestion for a quieter life. It is the most radical and necessary command for your liberation. Every time you turn to a book to tell you who you are, every time you look to another person to validate your worth, every moment you pray as if you are speaking into a void, hoping for an answer shaped by your own expectations, you are reinforcing the very wall that stands between you and your own divine nature. You are the child in the parable searching the whole house for the treasured necklace that was around your own neck all along. The frantic searching itself is what blinds you to the fact that you are already in possession of the treasure. Consider the simple daily act of trying to solve a complex problem. You wrestle with it, you talk about it, you analyze it from every angle, and you find only frustration. Then in a moment of surrender, you step away, you take a walk, you gaze out a window, you engage in some mundane task, and it is in that very moment of turning away from the external search for the answer that the solution arises. Unbidden from within, it comes with a clarity and a completeness that all your prior effort could not muster. Where did it come from? It came from that place of inner silence that you inadvertently accessed when you stopped the noisy external seeking. This is a tiny, fleeting glimpse of the principle at work. The world teaches you to accumulate. It teaches you that more knowledge, more possessions, more relationships, more experiences will eventually add up to the wholeness you desire. Spirituality of the nature we are discussing operates on the exact opposite principle. It is a path of unlearning, of letting go of subtraction. It is the ceasing of an activity. Imagine your consciousness as a pond. For your entire life, you have been throwing stones into it. Stones of opinion, of dogma, of other people's teachings, of your own past experiences. The water is so perpetually agitated with ripples and waves that you cannot see the bottom. You believe the answer lies in finding the right stone to throw in, when in fact the answer has always been at the bottom of the pond, waiting for the ripples to subside so it can be revealed. Your work is not to add another stone. Your work is to stop throwing stones. Your work is to be still. This ceasing is an active, profound, and internal act of renunciation. It is not a passive laziness or an intellectual disinterest. It is the fiery decision to no longer grant authority to the world of appearance. It is to turn your attention, your very life force, away from the den of the marketplace and inward toward the sanctuary of your own being. When a craving arises for an answer from outside, you must recognize it as the same old hunger, the same old lie, and you must consciously, deliberately choose not to feed it. You must let the hunger be without acting upon it. This is the discipline. This is the practice. It is in this conscious cessation of the outward reach that a new dimension of intelligence begins to make itself known. It is as if you have been trying to hear a whisper while standing next to a jet engine. The first and only step is to turn the engine off. The whisper was always there. It did not need to get louder. The noise needed to cease. This is the great turning, the metanoia, the fundamental reorientation of your entire life, from seeking God to being the very presence where God is realized. This ceasing of external seeking is not an end in itself. It is the necessary preparation, the clearing of the ground for a far more profound activity to begin. When you stop throwing stones into the pond of your consciousness, the ripples do not vanish instantly. There remains a turbulence, a churning of old thoughts, fears, and desires, the residual noise of a lifetime of outward living. This is the activity of the personal mind, the ceaseless narrator of your life story, the commentator, the judge, the perpetual motion machine of I, me, and mine. Its very nature is movement, and it interprets this movement as life itself. To suggest that this activity must be still sounds to this mind like a death sentence. It will fight this stillness with every argument it possesses, for its entire existence is predicated on its own noise. But this personal mind, for all its cleverness and vigor, is snorts, not the source of intelligence or life. It is merely a processor of past conditioning, a reactive mechanism shaped by memory. It can only rearrange the furniture of your past experiences. It cannot bring in anything new, the revelation, the healing, the transformative power it cannot come from this level of consciousness, because this level of consciousness is the very barrier that obscures it. Therefore, the next most critical step on this path is to consciously, deliberately, and gently still the activity of the personal mind. This is not an act of violence or suppression. You are not going to war with a part of yourself. That would simply be one aspect of the personal mind fighting another, creating more turbulence, more ripples. No, this is an act of profound and gentle withdrawal of attention. You practice this in the midst of your daily life. You are sitting in traffic, and the familiar rush of frustration, impatience, and anger begins to boil within you. This is the personal mind in its full activity. It is narrating the injustice of the delay. It is projecting fearful outcomes of being late. It is recycling old stories of stress. In that moment, you have a choice. You can follow the thought stream. You can become the frustration, and you will feel your body tense, your heart race, and your entire being become a knot of stress. Or you can practice stillness. You can, in the midst of the chaos, turn your attention away from the story of the traffic and toward the one who is aware of the traffic. You feel the anger as a sensation in your body, but you do not feed it with mental commentary. You notice the frantic thoughts, but you do not board the train of their narrative. You simply abide as the silent, aware presence behind the storm. You are not trying to stop the traffic. You are stilling the mental activity about the traffic. And in that moment, a miracle occurs. The frustration may not vanish, but its power over you dissolves. It is seen for what it is, a passing weather pattern in the sky of your awareness. The sky itself remains undisturbed. This is the great secret. The peace you seek is not the absence of challenges in the out world. It is the stillness of your own inner world in the face of those challenges. The personal mind is like a dust storm. If you run through the storm trying to beat it into submission, you only swallow more dust and become more agitated. But if you find a place to sit down quietly within yourself, the storm may still rage around you, but you are no longer in it. You are the silent, unmoved center, watching the dust settle of its own accord. Every moment of irritation, every spike of anxiety, every wave of grief is an invitation to practice this. When a critical thought arises about a coworker, instead of indulging it and building a case against them in your mind, you simply notice the thought and let it go, returning to the stillness beneath it. When a wave of worry for the future washes over you, you feel the sensation of fear without writing the tragic script that the personal mind wants to write. You are stilling the activity. You are, through consistent practice, breaking the addiction to your own internal noise. This creates a space, a holy vacuum. And it is into this sacred silence that something entirely new, something not of the personal mind, can flow. The chatter is not your truth. It is the static that prevents you from hearing the signal. Your work is to turn down the volume of the static, not by force, but by a gentle, persistent, and loving disregard. As the compulsive activity of the personal mind begins to settle, as the dust storm of your thoughts loses its fury and the ripples on the pond of consciousness gently subside, a new capacity awakens within you. It is not something you need to create or build, for it has been there all along, waiting patiently beneath the noise. This is the ability to listen not with the physical ear, but with the ear of the heart. We have for so long confused hearing with listening. Hearing is a mechanical function of the body capturing sound waves and translating them into electrical signals for the brain to interpret. But listening with the ear of the heart is an entirely different faculty. It is a state of profound receptive openness, a total attention that is completely devoid of any internal commentary or preparation of a response. It is a silent, loving vigilance. Imagine you are sitting with a loved one who is sharing a deep sorrow. If you are merely hearing them, your personal mind is active. It is comparing their story to your own experiences, formulating advice, judging the situation, or perhaps already thinking of a comforting platitude to offer. There is a barrier between you and them, a filter of your own mind. But when you listen with the ear of the heart, all of that falls away. You offer a silence that is not empty but full. You become a clear, open space for their being to be expressed. You are not listening to their words alone. You are listening to the truth of their spirit that is speaking through the words and often in spite of them. In that deep listening, true healing can occur. Not because you offered a brilliant solution, clear's throat, but because you offered the sacred gift of your unconditioned presence. This is a human echo of the divine, listening. We are now speaking of. This is the practice to turn this same quality of listening inward toward the silence itself. You are not listening for anything. That is a crucial distinction. The personal mind listens for an answer, for a specific voice, for a feeling of bliss. That is just another form of seeking. Another activity that creates tension and expectation. To listen with the ear of the heart is to listen without an object, without a goal. It is to become pure, undirected attention. You sit quietly and you simply attend. You are not waiting for a message. You are not trying to decipher a meaning from the stillness. You are simply being present with the same totality you would offer to that grieving loved one. But now you are offering it to the vast, intimate presence of your own being. In the beginning, it may seem as if you are listening to nothing. The personal mind will declare the endeavor a failure. It will say, "See, nothing is happening. This is a waste of time. This is the final gambit of the ego, which thrives on drama and event. You must see this complaint for what it is and let it pass by like a cloud in the sky of your awareness." Continue to listen. You are not listening for a sound, but to the essence of sound itself. You are listening to the very fabric of consciousness. As you persist, a subtle shift occurs. The nothing you are listening to begins to reveal itself as a no-thing, a vibrant, intelligent, living presence. It is like standing in a completely dark room. At first you see only blackness, but if you remain allowing your eyes to adjust, you begin to perceive subtle gradations of shadow, a sense of space, a feeling of texture in the darkness. The darkness itself becomes a medium full of substance. This listening is your primary spiritual practice. You do it not only on a meditation cushion, but in the midst of life. You are walking through a park, and instead of being lost in your thoughts, you listen to the silence between the bird songs. You feel the space in which the trees exist. You are in a difficult business meeting, And while you engage outwardly, inwardly you are listening to the stillness at your core, the unchanging background against which the drama of the meeting is playing out. This inner listening anchors you. It prevents you from being completely captured by the outer event. You are in the world, but you are rooted in a dimension that the world cannot touch. This is how you begin to hear the voice of truth beyond words. It does not speak in sentences. It communicates as a sudden knowing, an intuitive pull, a clarity that dawns like the sunrise, illuminating everything from within without making a sound. It is a revelation that arrives fully formed, not as a conclusion you have reached, but as a grace you have received because you finally became quiet and receptive enough to let it in. This profound, receptive listening is not a passive state. It is the most active state of being imaginable, for it is the precise condition that allows for a true transaction of spirit. When you have stilled the clamor of the personal mind and opened the ear of your heart, you have positioned yourself at the receiving end of a cosmic broadcast. You have tuned your inner instrument to the frequency of reality itself. Now a miracle can transpire. Now you are prepared to receive the impartation of pure consciousness. This is not the acquisition of more information. It is not a new set of spiritual facts to be stored in your memory. This is a transformative infusion of being itself. It is the divine acting upon its own substance, which is you, and altering it from the inside out. Think of a sponge, dry and brittle, full of its own porous emptiness. It is lowered into the ocean. It does not need to strive or struggle to be filled. It simply rests in the water. And by its very nature, by its inherent receptivity, the ocean rushes in to fill every void. The sponge does not become the ocean, but it becomes the ocean. It is saturated with the ocean's very substance. Its nature is transformed from brittle and empty to fluid and clear as throat full. This is the perfect analogy for what occurs when you are truly silent and receptive. You are that sponge, and the infinite ocean of pure consciousness is all around you, has always been all around you. Your striving, your seeking, your noisy personal mind were the very things that kept you lifted out of the water, separate and dry. In the stillness, you are lowered in, and the living water of spirit begins to saturate your entire being. This impartation is an act of grace. It cannot be commanded or demanded. You cannot make it happen. You can only make yourself available for it, and it manifests in your life in the most practical, tangible ways. It is the sudden solution to a problem that had you trapped for weeks, arising not from linear thought, but as a flash of insight that reorganizes your entire understanding. It is the unexpected and spontaneous feeling of deep abiding peace that descends upon you in the middle of a stressful day, a peace that has no external cause and is therefore unshakable by external circumstances. It is a surge of compassion for someone you previously found difficult, a compassion clears throat, that does not feel like your own effort, but like a force of nature moving through you. It is a creative idea that arrives fully formed, as if downloaded from a universal source of intelligence. These are not mere psychological events. They are the evidence of the impartation. You are being given what you need, not necessarily what your personal self wants. The personal mind wanted relief from the problem on its own terms. The impartation gave a solution that required a fundamental shift in your perspective. The personal mind wanted the stressful situation to change. The impartation gave you an inner stability that made the situation irrelevant. This is how the truth beyond words operates. It does not negotiate with the ego. It overrides it for the purpose of your awakening. It is an intelligent, loving, and powerful force that knows the blueprint of your soul better than you do. You will know this impartation by its fruits. After such a moment of reception, you will find yourself different. An old fear may have lost its grip. A long-held resentment may have simply vanished, not because you worked on forgiving, but because the underlying structure that supported it was dissolved by a higher chemistry. You may find yourself acting with a wisdom and a clarity that is not your own, surprising even you. This is the new wine that cannot be contained in the old wineskins of your previous personal identity. The old, you could not have conceived of these actions or known this peace. It is being given to you. Your only work, your only responsibility, is to maintain the silence, the humility, and the receptivity of the sponge. To remain in the ocean, to stop climbing out onto the dry, barren land of your own separate sense of self. Every moment you spend in inward stillness, every time you turn from the noisy narrative of the mind to the silent awareness behind it, you snorts are positioning yourself in the current of this divine impartation, allowing it to reshape you into what you have always been in truth, a living expression of the infinite. This ongoing impartation, this gradual saturation by pure consciousness, does not lead to the creation of a new improved spiritual self. That would simply be the ego dressing in finer robes. The ultimate revelation, the final cornerstone of this entire structure, is that this process is not about becoming something else, but about unbecoming everything you are not, until all that remains is what has always been undisturbed and pristine. You are to learn to abide as the undisturbed awareness. The sponge, now saturated with the ocean, must come to a profound realization. Its true nature was never that of a separate dry form, but of the ocean itself, temporarily experiencing itself through the limited filter of the sponge. The form remains, but the identification shifts entirely. You are not the sponge of a body and a personal history. You are the infinite cons. Sheer's ocean, aware of itself as that body and that history. This is not a philosophical concept to be believed, but a living reality to be abided in. To abide means to rest, to dwell, to take up permanent residence. You are asked to make this shift in identity the new ground of your being. The personal mind, the sponge mind, will protest. It has a lifetime of investment in its own separate drama. It will point to the pains of the body, the turmoil of the world, the memories of the past, and shout, "See, how can you be undisturbed awareness in the face of this?" This is the final test. The practice is to acknowledge the appearance of pain, of turmoil, of memory, while simultaneously knowing that the essential I, the core of your being, is the aware space in which these appearances arise, have their moment, and dissolve. You are the screen upon which the movie of your life is projected. A dramatic, terrifying scene may play out on the screen, but the screen itself is not terrified, not damaged, not altered in its fundamental nature. It remains pure white and undisturbed, simply displaying the images. You practice this in every moment of perceived disturbance. A sharp word is spoken to you. The old conditioned reaction is a surge of anger, a tightening in the chest, a flurry of defensive thoughts. This is the movie. It is automatic. But now, because you have practiced stillness and listening, a new capacity is present. A sliver, clear throat of space appears between the event and your identification with it. In that space, you have a choice. You can, as always, jump into the movie and become the angry character, or you can take a conscious breath and feel the anger as a sensation playing out within you, while you, as the aware presence, remain as the space that contains it. You do not suppress the anger. You simply cease to be the anger. You are the awareness of it. From this position of the undisturbed screen, you may still need to speak or act, but your action will not be a reactive explosion from the personal mind. Snorts, it will be a conscious, intelligent, and compassionate response arising from the stillness itself. It will have a power and a clarity that reactive anger could never possess. This, abiding, is the great secret to freedom. It means that your peace, your joy, your stability are no longer hostages to the ever-changing conditions of the outer world. The world can be in chaos, but the screen upon which the chaos is projected remains unmoved. Your body may age and sicken, but the awareness that is aware of the body remains whole and untouched. Your finances may fluctuate, your relationships may change, but the silent, aware presence that you are does not gain or lose anything. It simply is. To abide here is to be truly free. It is to live in the world, to engage with the world, but to know with an unshakable certainty that you are not of it. You are the timeless witness, the unmoved mover, the undisturbed awareness that was there before your first thought and will be there after your last breath. This is your native state. This is home. And every practice of stillness, every moment of deep listening, every reception of impartation has been for this single purpose: to gently, relentlessly guide you back to the profound and simple truth that you were never lost. You have only been dreaming of exile. The alarm has sounded. It is time to awaken Clear's throat and to abide in what you have always been. The journey we have described is not a linear path to a distant goal, but a continuous unfolding realization of what is eternally present. To abide as the undisturbed awareness is to discover a foundation that cannot be shaken, a peace that cannot be broken, and an identity that cannot be threatened. This is the ultimate fulfillment of the inner quest, the point where seeking ends and being begins. You are no longer a student trying to learn about truth. You are the living expression of truth itself, consciously participating in its own infinite nature. The separation between the seeker and the sought, the listener and the listened, dissolves into a single unified field of conscious presence. This is not an achievement to be proud of, for there is no individual self left to claim it. It is a humble, joyous recognition of what has always been the case. A homecoming to a home you never actually left. This abiding awareness is not a state of withdrawal or disengagement from the world. On the contrary, it is the precondition for truly effective and compassionate action. When you are rooted in the undisturbed silence, your engagements in the world are no longer driven by the frantic needs and fears of the personal ego. They flow from a source of infinite intelligence and unconditional love. Think of a master craftsman, whether a carpenter, a musician, or a surgeon. When they are fully absorbed in their work, the anxious, calculating self disappears. There is only the flow of action, a perfect, spontaneous response to the demands of the moment, guided by a deep, intuitive knowing that transcends conscious thought. The carpenter's hand moves with the wood. The musician's fingers find the notes without effort. The surgeon's instrument becomes an extension of a calm and focused Clear's throat intent. This is a glimpse of acting from the state of undisturbed awareness. Clear's throat, the action is performed, and performed with exquisite precision and care. But the door has receded into the background, allowing a greater intelligence to operate through the form. In your own daily life, this manifests as a profound equanimity that permeates all your activities. You are driving your car, but you are also the spacious awareness in which the act of driving, the landscape, and the very sense of you are all arising. You are in a conversation, listening and speaking, yet simultaneously there is a silent background presence that is utterly calm and unmoved by the emotional content of the exchange. You are meeting a deadline, dealing with a crisis, or comforting a friend. And while the situation may demand immense energy and focus, the core of your being remains as still and as clear as a mountain lake. The winds of circumstance may stir the surface, but the depths are untouched. From this place, your actions are no longer reactions. They are responses, and there is a world of difference. A reaction is a conditioned reflex from the past, laced with fear and self-concern. A response is a fresh, original, and appropriate action born from the silent intelligence of the present moment. This is the great secret that liberates you from the treadmill of karma and conditioning. When you act from the personal self, you are bound by the consequences of those actions, creating further waves of cause and effect that entangle you deeper in the dream of separation. But when action springs from the undisturbed awareness, it is like a knife that cuts cleanly without leaving a scar. The action is performed. It serves its purpose in the relative world, but it does not stick to you. It does not generate new karma because there is no separate you there to claim it. The action belongs to the totality of life itself. You become a clear channel for grace to move into the world, an instrument of a will that is both yours and infinitely greater than you. Your life ceases to be a burden to be managed and becomes a joyful, spontaneous dance, a continuous celebration of the silent, potent, and loving presence that you are. The search is over. The struggle has ended. All that remains is this simple, effortless being which was, is, and ever shall be your only true reality.